I'm just looking, thank you. A practical phrase used to politely tell a salesperson that you do not need help yet. I'm just looking, thank you. I'm just looking, thank you, I said while a mannequin tried to sell me its hat. Do you have this in another size? A practical phrase used to ask whether an item is available in a different size. Do you have this in another size? Do you have this in another size? I asked as a giant sweater unfolded like a tent. Do you have this in a different color? A practical phrase used to ask whether an item comes in another color. Do you have this in a different color? Do you have this in a different color? I asked while the scarf changed colors like a chameleon. Could I try this on? A practical phrase used to ask permission to try on clothing. Could I try this on? Could I try this on? I asked as the mirror began to applaud. Where is the fitting room? A practical phrase used to ask where clothes may be tried on. Where is the fitting room? Where is the fitting room? I asked as a clothes rack pointed with one sleeve. This is too small. A practical phrase used to explain that an item is not large enough. This is too small. This is too small, I said as the jacket tried to fit around my suitcase. This is too large. A practical phrase used to explain that an item is bigger than needed. This is too large. This is too large, I said while the shoes floated beside me like canoes. Is this on sale? A practical phrase used to check whether an item has a sale price. Is this on sale? Is this on sale? I asked while the price tag wore a tiny party hat. Is there a discount? A practical phrase used to ask whether any discount is available. Is there a discount? Is there a discount? I asked as a calculator whispered to the cash register. Can I get a tax refund? A practical phrase used to ask whether a purchase qualifies for a tax refund. Can I get a tax refund? Can I get a tax refund? I asked while my receipts formed a neat parade. Where is the tax-free counter? A practical phrase used to find the counter that handles tax-free shopping. Where is the tax-free counter? Where is the tax-free counter? I asked as a shopping bag marched ahead like a guide. Do you accept contactless payment? A practical phrase used to check whether contactless payment is accepted. Do you accept contactless payment? Do you accept contactless payment? I asked while my card waved politely from a distance. Could I pay in cash? A practical phrase used to ask whether cash payment is possible. Could I pay in cash? Could I pay in cash? I asked as the coins formed a patient little queue. Could I get a receipt? A practical phrase used to request a receipt after making a purchase. Could I get a receipt? Could I get a receipt? I asked as the printer folded one into a paper airplane. Could you wrap this as a gift? A practical phrase used to request gift wrapping for an item. Could you wrap this as a gift? Could you wrap this as a gift? I asked while the box put on a bow tie. Do you have a new one? A practical phrase used to ask for a new item rather than the display model. Do you have a new one? Do you have a new one? I asked as a fresh pair of shoes rolled out on a velvet cushion. Can I return this? A practical phrase used to ask whether a purchased item may be returned. Can I return this? Can I return this? I asked while the sweater came back like a gentle boomerang. Can I exchange this? A practical phrase used to ask whether an item may be exchanged. Can I exchange this? Can I exchange this? I asked as a blue hat and a yellow hat shook hands. There's a problem with this item. A practical phrase used to report that a purchased item has a fault. There's a problem with this item. There's a problem with this item, I said as the umbrella opened indoors and rained confetti. I'll take it. A practical phrase used to tell a salesperson that you will buy an item. I'll take it. I'll take it, I said while the shopping bag cheered with both handles.